Huge twist with Andy Robertson dreaming of a return to paradise. Marco Tilio's back as a champion. Chris Sutton urges Celtic to wake up fast. The Rangers are coming. Bayer Leverkusen calls Celtic a lower league club after Frimpong joins Liverpool. And the Bhoys could break the bank for a Danish goal machine. Hit like if you're loving the content and subscribe so you never miss a single Celtic bombshell. Let's go. You know that old saying, never say never. Well, it might just be echoing through the corridors of Celtic Park right now. Scotland's very own captain, Edouard Robertson, has stirred up the pot once again. A Champions League winner, two-time Premier League champion, and a modern legend at Liverpool. Robo has dropped some juicy hints that his time at Anfield might be winding down. And guess what name keeps popping up in the shadows? That is right, Celtic. Now hold on, it gets even more poetic. At 15, the lad was shown the door by Celtic for being, in their words, too small. Imagine that. Fast forward 16 years, and the same boy has become a colossus of world football. A left back who has run rings around the best of them, lifting trophies and pinging assists with a swagger that screams Glaswegian and grit. But the heart wants what the heart wants, and Robo's heart, it has always beat green and white. Celtic was my life, he said, not just in passing, but with that full-chested emotion only a true supporter can deliver. Season ticket holder, Henrik Larsson fanatic, backyard Larsson impersonator, the whole kit and caboodle. And now, with Liverpool looking to shake things up and possibly bring in a new left back, the timing could be, dare we say, fated. Even Fernando Morientes, yes, that Fernando Morientes, believes a move to Celtic is not just romantic, but plausible. Here is the twist. Robertson's contract at Liverpool runs until 2026. So, if Celtic want him, they might need to part with a hefty fee, especially if Jurgen Klopp's successor decides to cash in. But can you really put a price on a homecoming this epic? So here's the question I am tossing to you, the real football brains behind this channel. If Andy Robertson seriously wanted to return and pull on the green and white, should Celtic break the bank to bring him home? Or is it too risky to splash tens of millions for a 31-year-old left back with the Champions League? Pedigree and knees that have seen more action than the Scottish Derby. Let the comment section explode. He is coming back to Glasgow not just with a medal around his neck, but with a bit of that champion swagger in his step. Marco Tilio, the Aussie dynamo who spent the season on loan at Melbourne City, has wrapped up his campaign by lifting the Elite Grand Final trophy. That makes it for League Premiership titles in his cabinet. Not bad for a 23-year-old who had to pack his bags and fly halfway across the world to get proper minutes on the pitch. In the final, he played from the off in a tense 1-0 victory over city rivals Melbourne Victory. Jonan Cohen bagged the only goal, but the story here is about Tilio, emotional, fired up, and hungry to prove he belongs in the green and white of Celtic. And after a season of ups, downs, and everything in between, you get the feeling he is ready to flip the script. Let us not forget, this is a lad who had a tough start in Scotland, injuries, lack of rhythm, and that awful cycle of training hard, but watching from the bench. But now he returns sharper, wiser, and by his own words, a more complete player. He has had direct communication with the Celtic coaching staff, including the loans manager, and he has been keeping tabs on the plan for his comeback. Tilio is under contract for another 3 years, so the big question is not whether he is coming back, it is what kind of role he is walking into. Can he crack into the starting 11? Can he provide that spark we need in tight domestic games or even on European nights? And now comes the spicy part for you to chew on. Should Celtic fans genuinely expect Marco Tilio to step up and fight for a first-team spot next season? Or is he destined to be just another promising name stuck in the shuffle, behind bigger signings and old favorites? Chris Sutton has never been one to sugarcoat it, and this time he is waving the warning flag like a man possessed. Yes, Celtic have just steamrolled their way to a 4th league title in a row, sealed the double, and left the rest of Scotland watching in admiration or envy, depending on their scarf. But Sutton is not having any of the back padding. His message, wake up, because the neighbors are plotting a comeback. Let us break it down. Over at Ibrox, the red, white and blue confetti has nothing to do with trophies and everything to do with new money. A United States back group led by Andrew Kavanagh, with support from the 49ers Enterprises, has taken a controlling stake in Rangers. That is not just a boardroom shuffle, that is a full-on, American-style reboot. £20 million promised upfront. Fresh faces on the board from private equity to real estate to healthcare. It is Wall Street meets Govan, and they are not here to play around. And while Celtic are celebrating another league title, Sutton is pointing to those 5 Old Firm derbies this season. Yes, we won one in style, drew a couple, edged one on penalties, and lost the other 2. The trophy cabinet tells one story, those derbies whisper another. And Sutton knows that if Rangers get it right this summer with recruitment, those whispers could become roars. Brendan Rodgers has built a squad full of depth and quality, with standouts like Callum McGregor, Rio Haddad, and Nicholas Kuhn bossing the midfield. New rivals like Adam Ida and Jota have made their mark too, but the big question is not just about staying good, it is about getting even better. Because standing still, that is the fastest way to go backwards, especially when your biggest rival is loading up with fresh cash and fresh ambition. Sutton is not wrong. Celtic cannot afford to sit back admiring silverware while Ibrox loads the cannon. The derbies will always be the tightrope, and if the 49ers have their recruitment spot on, those one-goal games and penalty shootouts could tip the other way. So here is the bombshell for the comments section. Let us hear your take on this. With Rangers now backed by serious cash and a power-hungry board, should Celtic match their spending power blow for blow, or trust the current squad and focus on stability over an arms race? Talk about disrespect dressed up as business chat. Celtic fans have seen some cheeky jabs over the years. What, Simon Rolfe's calling us a lower league club in passing? That one might just make your tea go cold. The man was likely trying to hype up Leverkusen's system, but let us be clear. There is no universe where Celtic Football Club should be mentioned in the same breath as the phrase lower league. Now, let us not get it twisted. Jeremy Frimpong has just sealed a blockbuster £35 million move to Liverpool. And good on him. He started his senior journey at Parkhead, dazzled us with his pace and energy, and made a tidy leap to Leverkusen where, yes, he kicked on. Celtic get a windfall from the deal thanks to a smart sell-on clause. Everyone wins, right? Well, not quite, because in Simon Rolfe's version of events, Celtic were little more than a stepping stone. The words were young, highly talented player from a lower league, and that is where the blood starts to boil. Lower league, a club with 120 trophies, a European Cup, and enough domestic silverware to make Bayern Munich take a second glance. Bayer Leverkusen, for all their recent success, half for major trophies, Celtic have more League Cups than Leverkusen have total honors. The Bhoys have not only dominated Scotland for decades, but have a global fan base and a history. That includes Lisbon 1967, legendary players, and unforgettable European nights. Frimpong's rise should be a shared success, a young talent nurtured in Glasgow, fine-tuned in Germany, now taking on Anfield. That is a story that shows the strength of Celtic's player development, not something to be brushed off as some lucky punt from a lower league club. And if we are being brutally honest, if Frimpong had stayed at Celtic another season, we would have doubled his value ourselves. So let US stir the pot a little. Is this just snobbery from the so-called top 5 leagues? Or is it time Celtic start demanding proper respect on the European stage again, by matching clubs like Leverkusen not just in talent, but in Champions League performances? Oh, we have got a tasty one cooking at Parkhead. Word on the street is that Celtic are lining up a potential club record move for Mathias Kvistgaarden, and folks are already whispering that this Danish dynamo could be the second coming of Edouard. Now, if you remember Eddie's time in green and white, you'll know that is a mighty big pair of boots to fill, but if anyone looks ready to lace them up, it might just be Kvistgaarden. Let us take a wee trip down memory lane. Edouard, signed on loan in 2017, permanent the following year for a record £9 million, and what did we get? Goals, assists, swagger, and the golden boots for our troubles. We turned that £9 million into nearly £20 million when he left for Crystal Palace. And more importantly, we got a title-clinching hero who showed up in the biggest moments. That is the kind of business that makes other clubs green with envy. Fast forward to now. Kyogo's future is looking a bit wobbly, and Brendan Rodgers might just be searching for that next talisman up front. Enter Mathias Kvistgaarden, a 23-year-old goal machine coming off a red-hot season with Brøndby, 17 goals in the league, 23 in all competitions, and a habit of outperforming his expected goals like it is a personal challenge. Efficient, clinical, and a tormentor for defenders according to Denmark's Brian Reimer. Yes, please. Celtic have reportedly got no qualms about breaking the bank over £12 million for this lad. That would shatter the record set by Arne Engel's move from Augsburg. And when you look at what we are getting, it makes sense. Not just goals, but goals when they matter. Meanwhile, our current crop, Dazen Maeda and Adam Ida were solid, but not quite lethal. Kvistgaarden is looking like the kind of forward who does not just take chances, he creates panic. He is not just another project either, with Premier League and Bundesliga clubs sniffing around. This is the kind of signing that could flip the narrative. It tells the rest of Europe that Celtic are not here just to sell talent. We are here to buy ambition. But let me toss this into the mix and see where you stand. Should Celtic really be smashing their transfer record for another unproven name outside the top 5 leagues? Or would that money be better spent strengthening multiple areas of the squad instead of going all in on one potential superstar? Alright, fire away in the comments. Is Kvistgaarden the next Edouard or a big money gamble we might regret? If you enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe so you never miss a beat from Celtic's wild ride. And do not forget to check out yesterday's video. It is absolutely explosive and you will want to see every second of it.